All right,
You're in.
we are live. We made it. That was a long haul journey.
Technical difficulties. Oh, I feel like that took a lifetime.
It might have. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's some insect somewhere that doesn't live that long.
Many insects right now.
Yeah, several lifetimes, generations maybe, on some planet somewhere. Which brings us to our topic of the day.
Yeah,
what
UFOs.
the hell is going on with UFOs?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'd like to know.
Yeah, what are your thoughts off the top of your head? We got this article here opened up from the Daily Wire, but
Thoughts off the top of my head?
yeah, just about UFOs in general.
Obviously, I think it's a real thing, but do I think this is a real thing? Not necessarily. Not that I don't think that these stories are real. I just think that all of a sudden they're telling us about this and they're being fairly open about it. I think it's just distraction.
It's definitely a distraction because there's a lot going on. But to look past that, it is complete vindication for the UFO community for the last, 80 years?
Oh, I guess that'd be more than that.
Since Roswell, what was Roswell? 1946 or something?
No, was it that? No, it was more like in the 60s, I thought.
Might have been the 50s. It was definitely before the 60s. Might have been like 52. Let's see.
I can't be that old because Rogan's talking to Buddy. Buddy'd be like 100. I'm pretty sure it was.
Rogan hasn't talked to anybody.
Didn't Rogan talk to the one guy? He talked to. What's his name?
He talked to Fravor, he talked to Bob Lazar, he talked to George Knapp, he talked to Robert Bigelow.
I don't know. I'm going to defer to you on this as the expert on that kind of stuff, but let's see. Roswell.
Yeah.
Roswell.
Yeah, 1947. July 7th, 1947.
Yikes. All right.
Joe hasn't talked to anybody who had anything to do with Roswell.
Oh, I don't know.
He's talked to people about it because it's like the first kind of big thing. And that's an interesting story in and of itself because a lot of people...
Oh, I know which one he was talking to. He was talking to the dude from the one they did the movie on.
What movie?
God, I can't remember the name. I'm drawing a blank.
You talking about Bob Lazar?
It might have been Lazar.
Bob Lazar came out in the 80s. His story is that
he the one that when he was in the field, the thing took him, the spacecraft took him and worked on him. Stuff.
No.
Okay,
okay, wait, you're mixing a lot of things. Bob Lazar allegedly, this is his story. He supposedly worked at Area 51.
Okay.
On UFOs. He didn't get taken by anything, but he did see them fly allegedly, and he brought his friends out to see tests because he knew when they were going to happen, and they have video of that. Mm-hmm. George Knapp is the journalist that broke that story. Mm-hmm. Then abductees, is that how you say it? Would you say abductees or abductees? I don't know, but he talked to a guy named Travis Walton.
There's the guy. That's it.
He's
the one
allegedly.
There was a movie based on him, on that whole experience.
Yeah, I think he's lying.
You think he's lying?
I think Travis Walton is lying.
Why?
And I'm basing it on one criteria, and that is he encountered beings, and telepathy wasn't mentioned in his story. And that is something that comes up in a lot of the very credible stories, such as, do you know about the Rwandan school incident?
Maybe. If you say it, I might have heard it.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff is going to be stuff you've probably heard in passing, or I've mentioned it to you before.
Sure. Yeah.
And you don't know what I've said. But so the Rwandan school children's story. You know what? I wonder if I can bring it up real quick. I want to spend like 10 seconds seeing.
You're getting the countdown.
Yeah. If something doesn't come up right away, or if it goes to Google. Yeah, let's go on this one. Yeah, perfect. Let's throw this story up in our thing so that people can see it.
This is real-time techie stuff that you're doing.
I think there's a better way to do this, but we had technical difficulties beforehand, so I couldn't play around with alternative ways to make this work. But
if the end result is it works, good enough.
yeah, the end result is we're going to get this article up on the stream here.
To the BBC.
Okay.
Yeah, the BBC is very honest. They're an honest organization.
Yeah. Okay, so we just look at the headline here. In 1994, 60 children at aerial school in Rua, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, not Rwanda. That's what Rua and Rwanda. I'm mixing them up.
You're a racist. That's
well,
racist.
I am white.
Yeah, you're a
And
white
that
male.
is-
That's the worst.
Yeah, that's what they say.
It's the high on the hierarchy of racist. You're it, pal.
I'm it. I'm there.
Yeah.
So yeah, in 1994, 60 children at aerial school in Rua, Zimbabwe said they'd seen a UFO and aliens with big eyes in bush land near their school.
Bushland.
In bushland near their school playground. The story was reported around the world. This is a very interesting story because I guess allegedly what happened is the UFO landed and then these beings got out. Some of the students said there was one, some say there was two, but it's a mass sighting. There were 60 people. They drew drawings of these images.
I like that drawing. That's good drawing.
Well, it was drawn by a child.
Yeah, he could have done better.
he was good at math.
Listen,
art was not as
Straight up, I
his
couldn't
class.
even draw an alien right now. From like, you could ask me to trace one. I'd probably have a hard time.
There's been a UFO alert across Southern Africa.
This is a continuation of...
No, that's not what I was hoping that it would be. We're not gonna play that video.
What you're hoping it was an actual video?
No, I was hoping it would like kind of show some of the images that they were drawing. It might at some point.
Right.
But one of the images, the kid actually specifically tried to draw the sort of what can only be described as telepathy that they supposedly experienced, where I guess what they described was the beings like put images in their head or something like that, and they were like, they knew it was foreign and it was of some kind of like apocalyptic imagery that was just put in their head. It was very weird, but that incident, as well as do you know who Jacques Vallée is?
Again, maybe.
Jacques Vallée he's been on Joe Rogan a few times, or at least once. I feel like he's been on more than once, but he went on Joe Rogan a couple of times, and his shtick, he's a UFO researcher. I guess he, actually very interestingly about Jacques Vallée, I'm just going to go on so many tangents. We're going to be talking about this all night. Jacques Vallée is in possession of material that allegedly came off of a UFO, and they've analyzed this material.
Right. And
basically, it's just a little piece of metal. But what they found when they looked at it in like an electron microscope, where they can kind of see what it's, at its core level, atom for atom, what it's made of, they said it would cost, a stupid amount of money to make. Like, we could do it, but it would be,
that little piece would be...
It would bankrupt the world to make that little piece that Jacques Vallée had. It was so complicated. And also, apparently, this piece of metal, I hope I'm not conflating stories here, but I think they said that it appeared that this piece of metal was produced in a zero-G environment, which would imply some kind of like orbital factory or something somewhere building these things, which might make a lot of sense because
The other side of the moon.
or anywhere else in the universe.
No, there's a shop on the other side of the moon.
Well, there might be. I hear they have good deals this time of year. Their Black Friday sales are apparently the dark side of the moon. They really step up their game for Black Friday.
They're out of this world, pal.
Yeah,
Out of this world.
I've thought about. I kind of want to make a video game where I have no idea how to do it. The technical fucking possibility. No, the technical requirements to build this are stupid. But I think it would be cool if you had like a planet, right? And you're on the planet, and at the ground level, it's kind of like Minecraft, right? Where you're gathering resources, but similar to Minecraft, you develop stuff way really quickly, and then you get technology, you build yourself up. Eventually, you build rockets, and you go into space, and then it's kind of like Kerbal Space Program. Have you ever played that game? You know anything about that game? No. Kerbal Space Program is basically you build rockets, and it uses like a realistic physics engine. So you pick the parts, so you have to put the command pod, and you have to put a parachute, and you got to put a fuel tank, and it'll have a certain amount of fuel, and then you got to pick your engine, which has a certain some engines are good for it's really in depth. If you want to nerd out about that stuff, I played way too much Kerbal Space Program in my day, but it's basically realistically flying rockets, and it kind of does it in a fun way. So I figured it'd be cool to have a game that was like that with the realistic physics that wasn't so difficult, where the fuel requirements weren't so much, and then you go to other planets and do things, and then
what about
just a little
No Man's
Easter egg? That's different. That's a sci-fi thing. I figured it'd be cool if you had an Easter egg where you go up into orbit around the planet, and if you knew where to go in the right orbital plane and altitude or whatever, you could find this like little asteroid, and just on the asteroid was just like a little shop, like a little gas station or something with, or they maybe the guy in the shop like sells you like something fucking crazy, some like fucking Iron Man armor or some shit that you can't get any other way. You have to find this little Easter egg. I feel like that'd be a fun little thing. But
well, hey. That is, you just did go off on a tangent.
I went far. Yeah, I went far. Where were we? We were talking about Jacques Vallée, this piece of metal. The Rwandan school. Oh, Jacques Vallée.
The Zimbabwean school, not Rwandan.
It's a Rua, Zimbabwe.
There you go.
Listen, it's all Africa.
Same place. Same place.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Jacques Vallée. Kind of is the guy who, I don't know if he uncovered this story or really dug very deep into it, but there's a UFO story that I believe has a lot of credibility, but got really swept under the rug. Like it kind of, you have Roswell. Everybody knows about Roswell, but this incident, it happened. Similarly a long time ago, after Roswell, I believe, but maybe in like the 50s or something. And I guess what happened is there was I don't know if it was a radio tower or an electricity tower or something, that the UFO flew in and hit the tower and then crashed. And there were these kids at the time. They were young, maybe 10, 12 years old, and they were working on a farm, and so they were. I think they had a truck or something that they were driving around in, and they or it might have been like an ATV or I don't know what they probably had a truck. If it was a long time ago, they were probably just driving their dad's truck or something. But that's not important. The UFO would crash, and they'd seen it. I don't know that they saw the crash, but they saw the UFO from a distance, and they could see these beings inside the UFO sort of flying around. They appear to be like floating around, which is an interesting thing. How were they doing that? Is it technology? It's probably some kind of technology. So they're just kind of like effortlessly floating around, and they could hear the creatures like wailing almost, and they felt bad for them. They wanted to help, but they didn't know what to do because they were supposed to go home, right? And when you're a kid, right? Like when you're a little kid and you encounter something very serious, it's hard for you to really kind of wrap your head around, okay, this is serious and I should prioritize this, when you know that, but if I'm not home in 30 minutes, mom's going to ground me, kind of thing, right? Your priorities in life. And so they were kind of there. They didn't really know what to do. And they reported these beings kind of similarly, like putting images in their head is how they kind of describe this. And so those are like, that's basically two
different stories, but they kind of are similar.
Well, they're not just they're two very credible stories. One was a mass sighting. This story, if you look really deep into it, there was a tower there. There's not a tower now. They removed the tower. I think at some point there's even there are people who remember the tower having like something wrong with it, like something had hit it. The kids themselves were interviewed much later. The parents, I think there might have been some interesting stuff found in the area. I don't know all the details. Jacques Vallée really dives into it, I think, on his latest Joe Rogan. I say latest, he might have only been on one time, I'm not certain. But on Joe Rogan, he dives into the details and he kind of explains all the evidence for this case. It's a pretty... there's a lot of reason to at least hold off on the desire to dismiss that particular story, and same with the Rua Zimbabwe story, with the mass sighting, and that those I know that there are other incidences that are less
Why'd you say it so slow?
I don't know.
There are other incidents.
I said it wrong. I wasn't sure how to fucking say. Other incidents, encounters that people have had through abduction that are less substantiated, that are harder to say, okay, there's a mountain of evidence that suggests that something happened to this person.
Right.
There's a lot less of that in a lot of these cases, but a lot of them, they report the same thing, this telepathy. And so for me, it's not a be-all, end-all. When it comes to Travis Walton, I'd say I'm 95% or 90% on the side of he's probably lying. Mm-hmm. And the telepathy thing is what does it for me. It's just because it's not normie friendly. It's not, if you are not familiar with this stuff and you don't know that it's kind of a regular thing that is reported, it's something that you kind of think of as just fiction. You don't think there's anything to it. It's total nonsense.
What about
woo-woo stuff?
What about the idea that there might not just be one race or one species of, say, alien visiting us? Maybe.
Well, it's probably hundreds, thousands.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe this one that happened to abduct him was a little less on the technological scale.
That's possible.
Right? So they're still doing.
Well, I don't think it would be the technological scale. Well, I think it's the evolutionary scale.
Well, I mean, but
I think the telepathy is not a technology thing.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but if they're not so far advanced.
Yeah, evolutionarily, right? Yeah. So that goes back to Bob Lazar, because he talked about, I guess, the specific ship that he allegedly worked on was a supposedly came from Zeta Reticuli, that's a star system anyway, and it is a binary star system where allegedly whoever built the craft, this anti-gravity technology was their version of like the steam engine. Right. So like where we, our technological line, it kind of, we figure out how to build a wheel, and then we use animals to move the wheel, and then at a certain point we figure out we can use heat to boil water to turn a thing and move heavier stuff.
Turn a thing.
Yeah,
a thing got turned.
To put it simply, the thing gets turned and moves.
We figured out a few different ways to turn things.
Yes, and we've we've evolved.
Turning
in
things
that
has
department.
evolved us.
we've done a lot.
No, but think about it this way.
But that's our technological.
I know,
lineage.
but think about it this way, though. If we were to, so we're probably, arguably, 100 years from spacefaring. Like maybe even 50 years. Like who knows? But arguably, let's say we're 100 years from spacefaring, so we can actually travel through space. Like maybe not super far, but whatever. If we were to do that, and we were to encounter a different species, a different humanoid, or a different whatever, we would probably do some archaic bullshit to it, where we'd cut it open and stuff like that, because unless we've advanced technologically,
we would study it.
But that's what I'm saying. But we'd study it in weird
Yeah.
ways like that. So if you look at like Travis Walton,
Yeah.
what he's talking about,
Yeah.
actually where they've got him on a table and they're doing all
There's
this
a
shit.
really creepy
That would
side.
be that would
of
be
these-
something like a human would do.
There's a really creepy side of the UFO story, and I wish I knew the website off by name. It is. Some of the images are like grotesque. Like I wouldn't want to show it on here. We're talking like actual dead bodies. But there are some. I guess one of the stories, just to give an example of the kind of stories that this website kind of puts forward. I guess there's a guy who went out up a trail right near his house or whatever, and a UFO picked him up, and somebody saw the UFO sort of over around where he was heading to, right? Somebody saw the UFO come, a beam of light and everything, and then it went away, and then this guy disappeared. He never came home, and they were looking for him. And I don't know if it was a couple days later, a couple hours. I don't know the timeline, but eventually they found his body. It was dead. He was dead. I think he'd had like organs removed, and there were like these weird holes all over him that seemed to be from some kind of device.
Like Matrixy?
No, no.
They got holes on them.
But yeah, like
Matrix joke there.
yeah, like to where it was like they picked this guy up and they just kind of,
Fucked with him.
experimented. What's weird to me is I don't understand why they would put him back.
Maybe just dumped him.
Maybe there's something about you just fucking
Maybe
take something, you study it, you make sure you don't move
Well, and that's what I
biomass
mean.
around,
It's
but
like we assume
we would do that.
Yeah, that's
We
what
would
I'm saying. We
absolutely do
assume that all alien
actually, I don't
races
know.
would be advanced enough and be
Oh, no,
and
we
maybe
would
have
do
some kind of morality that would be
Oh, yeah, that's
ahead of ours.
that's an assumption that
That's what I'm saying.
I don't.
They might
make.
look at us like a cockroach and just be like, "Screw these
Yeah.
pieces of shit. Like we're just gonna just rip it open and see what the hell makes this thing tick."
Yeah, we could be like ants. to
Or
them.
they might just
Some
or
of
they
them
might
could
they
be-
might be sadists too. They might be like, "Screw it. Like, let's just mess with these."
Yeah, that's the thing. There are
Like there's so many different things that could be going on.
probably all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like in some level, right? I'm sure you'd have
You probably have very what's
scientific
the
minded.
word?
You'd have scientific
No,
minded ones.
they're all going to be scientific minded,
Well,
right?
some of them might just be looking to-
if they develop technology, they're going to be scientifically minded.
No, what I'm
but
saying though,
of them
some
are-
might just be utilizing that technology that their species created
Right,
to just fuck around.
Well, yeah, but that's
Not for
still-
science, just to be dickbags.
Yeah, I don't know that it would be just to be dickbags. I think ultimately at the core of it, it would either be they want something.
Well, maybe, but I'm saying, but they
But
might just be
like-
fucking bored too. It might be like a.
They might.
It could be a juvenile type of that species or whatever,
They
and
might
they're
be
fucking bored.
like actually evil.
That's what I mean. They're
Right.
bored and they're like, "Hey, let's go
Yeah.
to Earth and fuck with the humans."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could get fucking. Maybe there's like teenagers. That's
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They borrow their parents' fucking
Yeah, they're
spaceship.
UFO and they go. And they, yeah, that could happen, right? There's probably a crazy stuff like that
That's it.
goes
We
on.
just don't know, right? We always just assume it's like, oh, they're here to just explore us. They're
Yeah, I find it
they're
weird
curious.
that people like to throw intent out
Right.
there, right? It's like there are so many reasons that they could be here, and it's likely there are a lot of reasons that different ones are here. Like a lot of them are probably just here to study, because I feel like it's really I don't know about you, but I would find the idea of being able to observe fucking human beings at any stage, of their evolution, to go and look and see what's going on. Like, oh, let's go back to fucking, the year 1000 and see what's happening. Or, fuck it, let's go to 1988.
Mm-hmm.
You probably remember 1988.
Maybe. Shut up.
But, I would like to see all these times and kind of, you compare and contrast. And I bet you can do that in the universe if you can beat the speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thought experiment.
Hey, if you're driving in a car, going the speed of light, and you turn the headlights on, what happens?
They don't go. The light stays where it originates, so it doesn't.
Doesn't beam out.
If you're going slightly slower than the speed of light.
What if you're going faster than the speed of light?
The light will go backwards.
So it's going inside.
Yeah. But you're also would be
trippy bullshit, buddy. You
would also be. What would that? It'd be negative. That would be how you.
Don't pretend to understand physics.
Do you not know time dilation?
I'm kidding. No, not really.
If you the closer, there's an equation. The closer to the speed of light that you get,
the slower time goes.
No, the faster outside time goes relative to you. So you always are experiencing time normally, right? Let's say if I were to travel at 99% the speed of light, so just in a circle around the Earth, 5 minutes for me, it could be, a year for you. Right. And so, it goes to zero when you hit the speed of light. It's like an infinite amount of time will pass outside for every, unit of time that you are traveling at the speed of light, which I feel like there has to be something wrong with that equation, or there's very interesting implications to it with things like electrons going the speed of light. Like maybe there's really only one electron and that's the entire universe, and that's God.
You just don't know,
it's
man.
An electron.
Yeah, we don't know.
But,
we could just be an atom. We could all just be one atom.
Yeah, I think it's all one thing, but
no,
how it exists, there's so many things, but
we're getting into a different thing.
But that's a whole different thing. But if this is a thought experiment that I want to talk about here. I want to write this down because we just went on a nice little tangent. So there are 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone, right? And as far as we could tell, in the observable universe, there's trillions of galaxies.
And I mean, they're forming all the time, right? So new galaxies are forming, and new stars are forming.
I don't think there's new matter being formed.
No,
but you don't really gotta.
No, they're compiling. They're compiling.
Yeah, right? but that's irrelevant to this.
Okay.
Right, so you got 400 billion stars in
this galaxy,
our galaxy,
Milky Way,
and you have trillions of galaxies. Some of which maybe have fewer stars. Some of it, a lot of them are a lot bigger.
So do you think the universe is finite or it's infinite?
It looks like it's infinite, and I'll leave it at that. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's why it's a think.
Yeah.
That's why I started the question with think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's finite.
Seems like it might be infinite. It depends on what it is.
Yeah,
I think. But you got 400 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. At our current sort of understanding of things, there's probably half a dozen to a dozen planets around each of those stars on average, right? Some will have none, and they'll be in clusters.
Sure.
And there won't be any planets because they
ton.
get, and some of them are going to have a whole bunch, right? And if we assume that it's really rare to get a situation like Earth, right? Just really, really rare.
Sure.
What is really rare? Well, if it's 1 in 400 billion, then there's still trillions of Earths in the universe. And if it's possible to eliminate the problem of traveling great distances, either through warp drives, or if you could go from any point in the universe to any other point in the universe in a reasonable amount of time, which is, as far as we can tell with our current understanding of physics, that is possible. We just don't know how to do it.
Right.
it should be possible, then that's a trillion or trillions of opportunities for somebody to develop and get to that point and do that. And so let's say it's really rare when you have an Earth-like situation for a species to get to that point, right? They blow themselves up or something beforehand. Extremely rare, you're going to have
millions, even
billions,
even billions,
millions. Yeah, extremely rare. We'll just go with millions
Sure.
of these advanced civilizations that have this capability.
Mhm.
And so, you know,
I know. I think that because I think the numbers themselves are so big that in my mind anyway, it's kind of
inevitable.
stupid. It's kind of stupid to say.
well, that's the other thing, right?
To speak in absolutes, to say there is no other. You know, like religion does that, right? Like you can't admit that there are other.
It's not really religion. It's
Well,
more the
no,
people.
but I'm saying, but religion does that as well. I'm saying not necessarily just religion, but
it's the people.
religion
I
does
don't
that.
know.
Religion talks about basically like. So I worked with a pastor. Well, he worked for me for a while, and we talked about this a lot actually. And he unequivocally would say, no, there are no other
Right.
species. So I just think it's silly. It's just silly when you take those numbers.
There are probably other species in our solar system,
Right,
Just
right.
you know, whether they're in the oceans,
we find
or on Mars.
we find
Mars was green.
yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but we find stuff on this planet that live in very strange
Crazy
conditions, right? So if
Yeah.
we just find that on this planet, imagine other planets. Like
Right.
the idea that life only stems off of Goldilocks or habitable zone planets is silly at this point.
But
I think
even
we-
if it
you know,
did, even if it
Yeah,
did,
yeah, even if
there
it
would
did.
be so right.
Yeah.
If you just think about the numbers, the sheer probability, right? You're rolling the dice. What are the
Yeah.
odds? There's just so many chances for it to happen that it's bound to happen, millions, billions of times. And I think it's far more likely that it's more common.
Yeah.
Like I think the universe is almost deliberately striving to that sort of progress, to that almost mastering of itself.
that doesn't even take into account one of my theories, which I've told you about, whether you remember it or not.
Well, tell
Yeah, tell the world.
the world,
The world.
tell the world today.
The
The whole
whole
world is watching you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, some of my theory that as humans we've actually evolved to a level, to a technological level that we've potentially gotten off this planet
Oh,
a few times, at few
okay.
different stages.
So you think we left?
So we left. Maybe there
And-
was a like we had to leave because of something. You know what I mean? Because of
And then humans re-emerged?
and then the outliers, the people that weren't sort of involved in that, just the people that kind of went to caves, shit like that. You know, the very few that survived just repopulated the planet. And maybe it's happened a few times over. Or maybe we did it, we just repopulated the planet ourselves. You know, like
It's possible.
the
There could have been
potential-
other species, similar to us.
and we've left ourselves clues, right? We've left clues as far as like the pyramids, as far as
Yeah, but that's all within like tens of thousands of years.
I know what I'm saying. But hold on. But look at this though. Look at the technological scale, the curve of where we've gone
Yeah.
in the last 250 years, right?
But what I was gonna say is they found something looks like some sort of tool that was like millions of years earlier than there should have been
Tools.
right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, how did that? What was going on? Are there maybe there are other like hominids that were doing things? Maybe there were other humans. Yeah, that's possible too.
And maybe those other humans that have left the planet, maybe they're the ones that are visiting us. Maybe
Yeah.
they're visiting us to kind of see what's up, maybe give us a little push in the right direction, or try
What
and
if-
then fuck up shit at times.
What if there's
They
humans
placed Biden.
from the future?
Well, they placed Biden. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that was the Chinese,
Well, no, okay, maybe those were the Chinese.
the lizard people.
No, the Chinese that left the planet.
No, the Clintons are the lizard people.
Yeah, the Clintons are lizard people.
I think it's possible that they're human beings from the future.
Isn't
And
it okay? So it's actually apparently
that could be why there are a lot of, like this article that we have up on the screen, instances around military, planes and ships, and they're encountering. That could also just be that the military is detecting things, right? They're looking for stuff, so they're seeing them. But
I could be full of shit here, but
most likely,
I'm sure I've heard this before that it's theoretically impossible to travel forward or backwards in time, but theoretically possible to travel forwards in time.
yeah, that's time dilation. That's what I was just explaining.
Right.
That, right?
So then how
that's
could they come back to us?
yeah,
from the
that
future?
would have to be possible.
Yeah. So.
We can't rule it out because we don't understand.
Well, yeah, exactly.
physics,
Just
but-
because we have a
we do
level
know.
of understanding of
We
physics.
technically know how to travel forward in time.
Mhm.
We, as far as we know, it's impossible to travel backwards in time.
Mhm.
But maybe here's it's a big idea.
Yeah,
that
I was
don't know
gonna
how
say when
to-
you do the breath, you know it's gonna
I don't know
something
how
big.
to
Something
explain
big is
it.
coming. Hold on, take a drink. Do whatever you gotta do.
What
Get yourself
if-
right with God. Whatever.
What
you want.
if? I get my
I've already. My head's exploding already.
Yeah. Well-
You said what if, and my head just went nuts.
Well, okay. So I think the universe is one thing. Whatever. Do you think you have free will?
Well, we're gonna get into that. That's a hilarious conversation.
No, it's not about free will. Just
Yeah,
in
I
general.
know where this goes because we've had this conversation before.
Maybe.
No, not really. I think fate kind of plays most of a role, but I think it's like I think it's.
No, so, but
You have a
think,
certain amount of
okay,
variance, but I don't think you can
but-
control complete outcomes of anything. I think it's kind
right?
of,
You can't control the outside environment.
Well,
so
that's-
much,
so
but
I'm
you
saying
can
that you
control.
can-
You control whether or not you go to the gym today. You
Sure.
can control whether or not you eat.
Yeah.
The healthy thing or the
yeah,
unhealthy
absolutely,
thing.
yeah.
Right, and that's.
So it's going to
free
control
will.
your very
and I do think
small immediate
but
thing, but
Well, yeah,
nothing big around. I think
No,
you're not
you
going to
can't-
create big waves. In other words, to
well, you could
change.
possibly do certain things, but that's less of a controller thing. We have a guest,
yeah. Here comes
Michael,
Here comes Michael.
our number one fan, that makes an appearance.
You got to be quiet
How you
though.
doing? No, you can talk.
From the
The mics pick up. We're talking about UFOs and aliens.
yeah.
No,
we don't talk about
no,
that.
we're 40
Did Chris
minutes
leave?
in.
You trust him leaving,
But,
Joanne? I'm kidding. Yeah. So, anyways, finish your thought, man. It's a cool thought.
So okay, you assume free will. You've fresh? Oh yeah, I got a haircut today.
Got them all.
It's not
Got
that
'em all
great,
cut.
but
Got a bulk haircut today.
yeah,
Hold on.
it's
So
not
they
great.
They did some.
It's not great.
They did a thing. They did a thing with your.
It looks even.
No. They did a thing with your sideburns, where they're going up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That's
My hair.
That's
It
risque.
never. I don't know. I never like the look immediately
Yeah,
after.
see,
haircut. It's like
I
2
got
weeks
mine all
later
cut, too,
that
at
it
one
kind
point.
of starts to get better.
That's
Yeah.
why I got the Joanne cut.
The joy.
As expected.
Yes. All right. So, with the concept of free will, right? You have choices to make. At certain points in your life, you have choices, and you do get to choose. You go left or right.
Sure.
What if every time you make a choice, the universe sort of bifurcates? Is that proper English?
Bifurcates?
Bifurcates, splits.
Oh, to split.
Um,
Wow, you're going right into
You are like a fucking thesaurus here.
thesaurus.
Thesaurus.
He's got a thesaurus.
bifurcation.
He's got a thesaurus.
Yeah, but bifurcation.
Bifurcation, that's the word.
Assume it bifurcates every time you make a decision, and there's a different reality for each.
Sure.
Right?
You're going on the realities here, eh?
Yeah. Right. But that's one thing. If that happens, I think backwards time travel is possible.
Why is that?
That's what got us onto that. Because then there's
I
like
believe
all
there
these
is
lines.
I believe there is time travels.
You go forward for sure.
But people
But,
aren't,
okay, well,
people aren't fucking it up as much as we think.
What we're talking about is this idea that maybe some of these, or maybe all of these UFO instances are humans from the future.
I can elaborate.
All
I
right.
can elaborate on that.
Michael, listen. I'm gonna do something here unprecedented. I'm gonna
Okay.
give my seat up to Michael.
I'm gonna show.
Jump in.
I'm gonna.
Alright.
Jump in.
I'm gonna show. So
gonna-
okay. So I gotta go in on this. So we're here. Okay.
Yeah,
So
there's everything.
So there's been where the Australians in the I can't remember exactly where Australia had
About to die over there.
he had the where we had the bombers. So there was an instance where I think it was 15 or 20 years ago, they were doing the stealth bombers where they weren't in place, even showing that technology that they had with the bombers. And they brought it out where they were seeing the truck.
We're under attack
Okay, so the triangle.
here. Yeah.
Where they saw the triangle, and they didn't bring it out that they had that technology where it was very silent.
Okay. Yeah. The idea is that a lot of these.
But there was an actual in Australia they have a U.S. base
Yeah.
in Australia.
It was
Where-
this plane.
Yes,
was,
exactly that.
Yeah, it was probably responsible for some sightings.
They actually had witnesses saying that. Are those good? So they actually had testing there, and they brought it out years. Like we're talking like 10 years later, saying, "Yeah, we were doing that."
Yeah.
So, but the witnesses were saying that we saw this, and the U.S. was coming up to them. They're like, "Yeah, we're needing to talk to you." So again, you never know, right? So.
Yeah, that's a whole other tangent on whether or not some of these are just advanced technology. But like, do you know about the TR-3B allegedly?
No.
So the TR-3B is allegedly a U.S. vehicle that
Yeah.
uses. Yeah. It's not confirmed. There are people. The reason we know about it is there are people who claim who were for sure. We know that some of these people were in the government doing and had access to top secret stuff and were doing stuff like this. They come out and they say that the U.S. has this thing. The TR-3B is a triangular shape. It's got the three lights on the corner.
Problem is that
And it
the problem is that with a lot of people saying with what they report, and they say there's from being here and being there, it's there's nothing on Earth being with it. That's the other problem of a lot of testimony. They're like, yeah, it goes from here to there. That's instantaneous. We don't have the gravitational force.
you would need anti-gravity or some kind of gravity engine to do that,
And-
or wormhole.
Not only just that, but and it being silent. We don't have that. We don't have.
As far as that's supposedly what the Tier 3B is, but the Tier 3B is apparently
They've been working on.
It's apparently uses recovered alien tech to work.
Okay,
That's what some of these people
They've
say.
been using. They've been using for I think it was 15 years. Anti-gravitational force, and I can't remember the words, the exact wording on this, they've been using this. They've been trying to use it.
Oh yeah.
Anti-gravitational instead of fuel cells, right? So fuel cells, you create a lot of mass of explosions, a lot of you'll hear
it's a kinetic energy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Different energy than what we're used to. So with stuff like that, you wouldn't feel it, right? So if you're out on a roadside feeling something moving,
Something rumbling.
right? Anti-gravitational, you wouldn't feel it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't feel it.
You wouldn't hear it. You wouldn't feel it. And if you saw it, it would just kind of look like
So
it
that
was just there floating.
again, with the whole time travel thing, going back on that, if things were being time traveled, the problem is with humans, and again, humans being humans, we would fuck up time travel. We would. You tell someone
Yes.
to not say something, to not. Alex knows it. You know. So if you went back into the past, you would fuck up something so small.
Yeah, the
No-
butterfly effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So saying that to someone, going back, say you were a test experiment, anyone could take. So they said that they've seen a person holding a cell phone, all that kind of shit. They guaranteed someone would fuck it up so much larger than that.
There are videos of that.
But
where people
they
appear-
would fuck
I think
it
some of
up
them
so
are-
much bigger than that.
Yeah.
You would fuck it up so much bigger than that. I'm sorry, a cell phone, like of all things,
Yeah,
of all things,
it's
like it seems like such an emplacement of someone fucking up a picture, saying, "Oh, there's a cell phone." But let's be honest, with kind of stuff like that, you'd fuck up something so drastic. The butterfly effect wouldn't consist on a cell phone. You'd fuck up on so many more things than a cell phone.
But okay, here's the thing: you're calling it a fuck up. I don't think it's a fuck up as much as it is. You're just changing the timeline.
Exactly.
Implying that it's a fuck up. But when you say fuck up, that's sort of, I think that's only the appropriate language to use if there's only one timeline.
Okay,
If
so
there's theoretically an infinite number of timelines, then you're not fucking up any timeline. You're going either back into a different timeline, or when you alter something, it creates a whole different timeline. With the alterations.
and then you're gonna get altercations on everything that you know.
Throughout that timeline, yeah, it's
Yes.
gonna mess up your thing unless you can freely travel
Yeah.
between these timelines, almost like you're hopping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, when
maybe
you
that-
jump back
maybe that
into
happens,
it, yeah,
every time you make a choice, it's like a split in the in
the
reality.
the reality,
Right,
yeah.
you go off and
Yeah.
you do this thing, or you go off and do that thing, and maybe that happens a million times a day for every individual, right? And there's just this infinite web of or network of timelines where it's basically just the universe experiencing everything that could possibly be experienced within itself.
We're getting a little deep.
A little bit.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Well, I'm just saying maybe.
But to be honest, if I were to go back in time, I'm sorry to say I'd fuck up the timelines. I would. I personally would. And you know you would.
Oh yeah.
So, indifferent from every single fucking person out there, regardless if they're military or not, they probably go back to change something about, because that's being human. That's being about being them. That's giving them the will. And you know for a fact that that's what anyone would do. That's what a lot of people would do. 99%. That 1%, good for them. But 99% of the time, they would do something that dramatically changed their life.
Yeah, of course.
It would.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're here. Because maybe something
And
goes
good
wrong.
for them.
Maybe something.
And good for them.
Maybe something goes wrong at some point, and they're trying to figure out how to prevent that. But maybe it's it's one of those things where it's like you know what Avengers, where Doctor Strange is like I've seen in the future, and it's like fucking a million different outcomes, and one of them
you know what?
we win.
But who can live with themselves if your love fucking is dead, and let's be honest, you do anything for that person, right? So
Or
you
people.
people, family, whoever, you try and change that timeline
Or
to
species.
make species,
Maybe
whomever
the whole
whomever it
thing,
is, right? So you try and change it for them, right?
Yeah, to prevent the thing. But maybe what's going on is it's almost inevitable. That we're going to annihilate ourselves, and they're here trying to figure out how to.
Regardless, I think
Regardless
of what it's supposed to be, it'll keep revolving. It's like a revolving door. It'll keep coming back. It's like death.
Yeah.
It'll keep coming back at you, regardless.
Yeah.
Tyler doesn't have anything to say. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. For once, that happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tyler doesn't
let's
have
just talk
one
about time
thing to
travel
say.
there.
Yes, I have it.
We haven't really even talked about this fucking story that we have
It's a first.
right here. All I brought this up for is because we're talking about UFOs and everything, and this is like the U.S. military just kind of basically saying that.
So there is, like I said, one Australian base in the northern, I think northeastern part. No, north-southern part.
North-south?
Never
North-southern
east.
Australia.
Northwestern. Sorry. Okay. We can thank rum and coke for this.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Northwest.
Northwestern? Northeastern?
Northeast.
Southwestern?
Up
Okay,
right is
stop
northeast.
fucking with me.
Up right is northeast.
Northwest.
Up left
Never
is northwest.
eat.
Shredded wheat.
No, it goes the other way. Never. Oh, you're the exact.
Never eat shredded wheat.
So the northeastern.
You're pointing, right now you're pointing west. Or, sorry, east. North is behind you.
So the northeastern part of Australia. So they had a naval base for something from the 1970s, and it's a top classified base. So that's where I think the stealth bombers were actually being placed into, and they talked about that in quite a lot of documentaries. There's quite a few people that talk about how they've seen those before it even came public.
Right, but this here is the military itself basically just acknowledging that it's seeing these UFOs every single day that completely exceed its technology, right? This is where you have these stories of fighter pilots and, the UFO, they kind of try to engage the UFO in some way, right? And chase it down. And the thing is, in some instances, quite literally just flying circles around their jet.
I think we're going to see in the next few years more about them getting alien
Tech?
having
it. I think they already have it.
they have it. They've definitely had it since
I think the part of the thing
the Nevada. Like since
Roswell?
Yeah.
New Mexico.
That's happened since then.
Yeah. That was probably...
They got
that. That was probably a UFO. Or that was probably aliens.
They probably had that. They had that since then. I
Yes.
guarantee
And so I think what the thing is, they don't want to admit that they have it.
Why would they? Why would they? Why would
For starters, if we unleash the power of human ingenuity on it,
But why would they do that? There's
'Cause
the
then they- 'cause-
U.S.
'cause then
saying
we'd figure it out.
we're.
But
I'm
they
sorry
want-
to be. Oh, I'm the U.S. I'm sorry to be a dick, but let's be honest. We're the fucking. We're the big capital. We're the fucking.
He's the big shot.
We're the fucking big fucking power of the fucking world. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Why would you give that to anyone? Why would you give that to anyone saying, we took this from a fucking species we have no idea about? Why would you do that to anyone?
because humanity would have a better chance at figuring it out. But
Humanity?
yeah. You know that they want to figure it out themselves so that they can have that global military get to that level, that just insane degree of military dominance.
U.S. would do anything. Suck a dick. Or millions
the
of...
Navy, I'm sure.
sorry. Millions of dicks to get to that. Regardless of who the fuck they are. The president, the fucking vice president, whoever. They don't give a flying fuck as long as they get that. Power over fucking everyone else. Why would they care?
I'm not saying they do. Obviously, they haven't.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
that's
they
what I'm
don't give a
saying.
flying fuck.
Right, they're trying to figure it out, is what I'm saying.
They want to back fucking technology.
They want to have it themselves and they don't want to tell people that they have it because...
But they know. I'm sorry, everyone else knows.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, they don't. There's so many freaking stupid
No,
people out there.
they do.
They don't.
They do.
There's so many people that, like, fucking roll
No,
their eyes.
no. It's people like you and I that don't know the real fucking story.
No, we don't know the real story.
What? Do you think that they don't talk to one another?
Within the military?
Okay, so China doesn't know what's going on in fucking U.S.
Well, they know more than...
They
like,
know
you
more
and I
than me and you.
do.
Okay.
But they don't know everything.
They don't. They know more than us. Let's be honest with you. They know more than us.
Because they're spying on them. But
exactly.
I do think it's possible. It's possible that all of the governments have.
I think all the
some
governments
of
have
things.
some
Yeah.
substantial
They
fucking
definitely-
knowledge
like-
about what's going on.
Yeah, you have to. There are a lot of sightings in China,
I
and the
think
Soviet
all-
Union had a lot of stuff.
The
that kinda got
English
released.
have fucking a shitload of what's been going on with
Yeah.
that. They
Canada. We've got a lot of
Niagara Falls
declassified,
has
documents.
got quite a few fucking quite a few over the falls actually.
Lake Erie. Lake Erie's a hotspot.
I know.
Yeah, we're fucking.
It's crazy.
Right there.
So I honestly think that the governments and the higher ups do have a lot more knowledge than obviously public are ever gonna know. They aren't gonna fucking say it. Of course, these guys are playing darts, so
Yeah. I think that hiding the technology.
the problem is that hiding it from the people. So yeah,
I think it's the
people are
biggest
going to
crime
be
against
fearful
humanity.
at first, but
Oh yeah, because we are no longer at the top of the food chain. Once it's
well,
disclosed,
we don't have it at our fucking
Yeah.
palms, right?
Right. Well, there are these things, right? They can do so much. Like we're powerless against these UFOs.
That we all know we're powerless. They have fucking bombs and guns, and what do you got? What do I got? I got a knife.
Well, yeah, we're powerless.
I got a
against the
knife. I'm
government.
Canadian. I got a knife. That's cool.
You might not. You gotta be careful what you do with that, right? In the UK, there was. I remember a while back they posted a picture on social media bragging about like all these illicit weapons that they had confiscated, and there was like a fucking. There's like a spoon in there.
A spoon.
Yeah, something ridiculous like a spoon.
So
Or a spatula in there.
That guy must be fucking arts to fucking a spatula.
Yeah, like I don't know
He
how.
must know the techniques. He must be some fucking Matrix motherfucker to know how that works.
Yeah, he knows how it works.
I'm sorry, people. I use my phrases. That's how it works.
That's how you work.
Sorry, everyone that's used to Alex talking, I'm on a different level.
Yeah, he's like a foot taller than him too.
Well, come on, Alex was a midget.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at him reaching up there. He can barely get the top of the board there. He's got to get up on his tippy toes.
He didn't hear you. He didn't hear you. Chris, introduce yourself. Come here. So
Chris is non-existent. He's actually from the future. We can't. He might be.
he's got a lot to say, but he doesn't want to say it. He's got a lot to say, and we're just fucking up people on this YouTube. Is there a lot of people talking or what?
Nobody is watching right now.
How dare you, people! How dare you!
Our last one, I might have to take it down because it got a copyright strike.
It got what?
We got a copyright claim because we played that song.
Oh no!
On
Copyright.
our
song?
last week's the Freedom Tunes thing, because it's the same fucking tune as whatever that song is. It got copyrighted, so I think
You have to worry about that shit.
Well, no, because we're not making any money, and it doesn't affect anything.
I was gonna say, like,
But
when
it might have something to do with whether or not the channel gets promoted. You know, whether it gets whether the algorithm picks it up.
So, anyone out there that wants to talk,
We do get views on other platforms. That's the weird thing.
we need talking. Anyone out there that wants to,
Anyone with a million subscribers, if you want to come on and talk to us,
right.
we'll promote.
It's not so much that
We'll promote your channel.
It's more or less about you guys want. If anyone wants to talk and have not an argument, more or less.
No, it's a conversation.
Conversation
It's in the theme
about
of the name.
back and
It's
forth.
a discussion. We're talking about stuff. You know,
anything out there. Anything.
Oh, absolutely everything.
Anything.
Whether it's,
Anything out there.
Whether there's politics, UFOs,
Right.
aliens, psychedelics. I like psychedelics a lot.
No.
Yeah, I know, right? No, me? Like right now, or you fucking just
This week.
butter this week?
This week. I'm gonna make some ice butter.
Ooh, those are.
So I like making butter for cookies. Yep.
Nice some chocolate chip cookies. Mike makes the best chocolate chip cookies in
I'm like a chemist.
all of Southern Ontario.
I am like a chemist.
Some call him
Tyler's
Heisenberg.
actually been.
Some call him Heisenberg. I've heard people call him Heisenberg.
I have. Scarily enough, people eat my cookies and crawl to the bathroom.
Crawl.
It's not a bad thing. I don't think it is.
No, that's what they're designed to do.
You want a good time?
That's why they're called bathroom crawlers.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's
Why I say they're extremely strong.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong to that. There's a lot of weed in it.
Just a lot of weed in it. They're killer. Weed is legal in our country. For all you uncivilized people.
Thank God to Canada.
Well, I mean, we got a lot. There's a bit of a trade-off.
Yeah, there's
A lot of authoritarianism.
Well, let's say taxation on everything.
Taxation, government mandates. We can't defend ourselves.
Oh, you've been fucking. Are you fully vaccinated?
Yes.
Fuck, I might be there soon.
Yeah, I had to play hockey, so I did it. It sucks. But you know, you're gonna have to get boosters. They're gonna do lockdowns again because they're gonna fear monger about this new variant. That
It's one coming from Africa.
yeah. What the fuck? It's just a variant. Like they're saying, oh, this thing, you know, the infection rate's high with this thing, but like,
Isn't
are
that
people
something
even
that
dying from it?
Okay, let's be
Are
honest.
people even getting sick?
Isn't that
from
what our body's supposed to fight against?
it? Viruses? Yes. Yeah, our bodies fight against viruses.
So let's create a fucking vaccine on everything. Let's do it. Let's fucking create a vaccine on every fucking thing that we fucking have. That would take fucking hundreds of years. Hundreds.
We kind of have that. It's the new stuff that gets us, right? But and other things are like that aren't viruses. You gotta treat them differently. But it's not even a vaccine. It's not a vaccine.
But let's be honest. So, what are they gonna do? Every year they're gonna have a new variant, or every 6 months?
3 months.
Are we gonna do 3 months? 6 months?
However frequently they figure is the optimal amount to create the most fear in order to control people.
I know.
Right?
I know. And I'm not going to explain what my work is, but as soon as
he does dirty stuff.
I do dirty shit.
He's a dirty boy.
Fucking disgusting. So I do government work. So
he actually works on UFOs sometimes, but he's not allowed to talk about that. It violates a non-disclosure
that's why I know
agreement.
about this shit. For sure. Oh yeah. So I gotta get it checked as soon as I get in the fucking place, and I gotta go through everything that probably a lot of nurses and doctors have to go through. But regardless, it's bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Anyone can fake it.
Yep.
So what do you trust? Myself or a million other fucking people going no?
It doesn't even matter though. Like whether you get the vaccine, like that's the fucking thing that gets me. Like the, just the insanity of holding the position that if everybody just gets vaccinated, we'll all get back to normal. While in reality, what's happening is that isn't happening. They're not easing restrictions or anything, and the vaccine, like, why does everybody need to be vaccinated when the vaccine does nothing to stop you from catching or spreading the disease? Right, so whether or not I'm vaccinated has no impact on you whatsoever.
Well, they say that though. It's like
Wait,
it's a percentage that
they say that it does, but literally the only thing that the vaccine allegedly does that's good is possibly reduces the severity.
It reduces, yes.
But then also, we have the data coming out of the UK now, or more recently, where they're basically found out, or they're showing that people over the age of 30 who are fully vaccinated are more likely to get COVID than people who are over 30 and unvaccinated. Yeah. So it's like it's just having the opposite effect, right? Like, so why does everybody need to get it? Why do I need to get it if, the odds are I'm not even going to get sick, or I'm barely going to get sick if I do catch it? Or
I don't get it.
Like, doesn't do anything. So what's the
point?
Sterilize people, maybe?
Oh, it's control. It's control.
It's all about control, yeah.
At the end of the day, like,
that's
my
what they're
wife,
using it for.
So Joanne, love her to death. She keeps saying to me, she's like, "Oh, but why do you think these big corporates are trying to do this?" I'm like,
money.
It's the money.
Oh,
for what?
So much money.
It is the power, because
that's why the governments are doing it.
Oh, that's huge.
And the corporations are leaning into it for the money, because they made so much money.
But if you started watching, was the Oxycontin movie? We just talked to you about that, Chris. There's an Oxycontin series. They talk about how they've been driving sales up like incredibly. It's stupid. I don't know why I even said that, but regardless, so they basically force the sales going, and we're not going to find out until years later how bad it is with that, because Oxycontin, you didn't find out until fucking years later about what the actual the percentages on what people were like being vaccinated. Quote.
Right. What are the long-term studies? We don't have long-term studies on this.
We don't, and that's the other issue. So we start getting it on and now they started kids like from what
Yeah.
6
Little
to
kids.
10.
Little kids.
Yeah.
Who?
So we're gonna start injecting them, and we won't find
Even
out
though
until
they
they're
aren't-
in their teenagers.
They aren't at risk at all. They aren't at risk at all.
No.
Why push it on kids?
No, we don't know even what it's on with adults.
Yeah.
So let's just push it on them. Smaller doses, of course.
Yeah,
But
still.
let's see what it's going to be like on them in years to come. And then there's going to be issues later on in life. Like, how
Who knows?
fucked up
what's
is
gonna-
this?
It's an experimental thing. Like mRNA technology is new. It's new, right? We don't have experience.
so-
The guy that created it said it's not meant to be used in this way.
Human life is going to be fucked. In about 15 years,
It's
we're
already
going to be
pretty fucked. I mean, we were
We're
just
gonna be more
locked in our
fucked up.
houses for a year, basically on and off. That was fucked a year and a half.
Good times.
Oh yeah, fucking great. It's fucking awesome. That's true. Anyone watching with headphones is fucking. They just died.
Oh no! Sorry, my voice. No, sorry. My voice on a regular is pretty bad.
Oh yeah, you can hear this guy from across the country.
So okay, so I can be known across the bar, like when post or pre-COVID. He's replaying this. So pre-COVID, they would be able to call me like, they'd be like, yeah, we know where you are. It was a bad thing.
Yeah, you can't hide from anybody.
No, I couldn't.
No one knows.
I still can't.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Chris, come here. No.
Chris isn't here. Chris doesn't exist.
You know what? You still sit. It's gonna set. I got it. Sorry.
These guys-
Sorry, people.
These guys are wild.
I love you. But I gotta go for a smoke.
Yeah, we'll shut her down right here. We went way off topic,
We did.
so we'll shut her down.